good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this. Today, I'm going to talk about some symptoms and food cravings that I experienced in the first trimester. If you just found out that you're pregnant, congratulations. Or if you are in the first trimester and you're wondering if your symptoms are normal, and if your cravings are similar to others, then this is the video for you. I'm super curious to see if your symptoms and cravings are similar to mine, so please do me a favor and comment them below. If you're curious to know what symptoms I experienced before I got my positive pregnancy test, check out this video. Let's jump right into it. So we'll start from the very beginning, which was week 4, and that was the week that I found out that I was pregnant. Most people think that week 1 is when you find out that you're pregnant, but actually it's typically around week 4 or week 5. Here's my dog. Hi. Hi. And here comes my other dog. So sometimes when I floss, my gums bleed, but during week 4, so this was like literally one day before I found out, I was brushing my teeth and my gums started bleeding, and I was so confused. I was like, what? This has never happened before. Another strange symptom that I had was greasy hair. So I would get out of the shower and have clean hair, and the moment that I blow dried it, it was greasy, and it was like in the root of my hair, and I couldn't get rid of the grease for like 2 weeks. I'm gonna kick them out. Come on. All right, I'm back. But during week 4, I also got a mouth ulcer, and I would get these periodically, like when I was on the pill, and I think it was just from the change in hormones. And this time it was probably due to the change in hormones as well. Another symptom in week 4 was dark circles under my eyes. I typically don't have dark circles under my eyes. Now throughout pregnancy I have, but before I got pregnant, I never really dealt with this before. Just during the first week, I noticed like a ton of darkness under my eyes. I don't know if it was because I was getting less sleep or if it was from the change in hormones. I googled it, and it did say that you can get some like pigmentation under here when your hormones are changing, so that could be what it was from. The last symptom that I experienced during week 4 was breast tenderness, and this might be TMI, but the truth is, if you're a guy and you're watching this, your mom has dealt with this, your sisters, your girlfriend, your wife, whoever, we're gonna make this normal. The whole first trimester, I felt this. They were so sore that I could not even run down the steps. Like, I had to walk down the steps. That's how much they hurt. Moving on to week 5, this was when my nausea started. Good old first trimester nausea. This lasted until 12 weeks. Yes, weeks 5 through weeks 12. That is a lot of weeks to be feeling like you're constantly car sick. It was awful. I was one of the lucky ones though. I only threw up twice, I think. Some people are like throwing up every day. I don't know. God bless them, because I don't know how they did it. I could not get by just feeling like I was gonna throw up. And you think that like once you do throw up, you're gonna feel better, and you don't. The feeling just stays. Another symptom that I experienced during week 5 was bruises. I had random bruises that kept appearing out of nowhere, and this used to happen a lot when I was anemic back in the day, and so I think maybe my iron could have been a little bit low, causing bruises. I don't know, but it was like every day I had a new bruise. It was so weird. Week 6, the vivid dreams started. This was one of my favorite pregnancy symptoms because it was hilarious. Like, I would have these dreams and they would feel so real. Like, I was convinced that they were real. And I would wake up and I would just tell my husband about them, and we would laugh. I mean, some of them were pretty serious and some of them were like nightmares, so we wouldn't laugh at those ones. But these dreams, like, seriously, one of my favorite symptoms. 6 was also when my fatigue set in, and this lasted probably until about week 14. I was so exhausted. Luckily, it went away. Right now I'm in the 3rd trimester, so it's coming back a little bit, but not nearly as much as the first trimester. The first trimester, you are just exhausted all of the time. Okay, week 7. This is a really weird weird symptom, but I had excess mucus and saliva in my mouth at all times. I felt like I constantly had to be swallowing this excess mucus, and I have allergies, so like I know what that feels like, but this was super excessive. Like anytime I would eat, my mouth would fill up with like saliva and mucus, and I would just like constantly have to be swallowing it. And it only lasted a week, but it was the strangest feeling ever. Week 8 was when my headaches started, but for a good reason. I still am really sensitive to caffeine. If I drink regular coffee, my anxiety gets so bad. I start to get chest pains, and so I switched to decaf probably around week 12, but before I switched to decaf, I cut out caffeine completely, which led to a ton of withdrawal headaches. So I think if I didn't cut out caffeine, I probably would not have had those headaches, but yeah, they were pretty painful. So then after about 4 weeks, I was like, well, let me try decaf. It has a little bit less caffeine in it. And the headaches went away because I was still getting a little bit of that caffeine. And then also I wasn't getting like major anxiety from the coffee. So win-win. If you're struggling with caffeine, try decaf. Week 9 was my first hormonal experience, and I will never forget it. I had just gotten back on a trip with my friends, and my husband picked me up, and it was really late that night, and he had suggested that we just leave the dogs at the dog sitters one more night just because it was too late to go pick them up. And I started bawling, just thinking about how, oh, my dogs must have missed me so much, and now they're gonna have to stay there one more night and they're gonna miss me even more. Like, I could not control myself. That was my first hormonal experience, and looking back, it was hilarious. 10 and 11, I didn't really have any new symptoms, and then week 12 hit, and that was when my nausea went away. And it was the day that I hit 12 weeks. Like they say, around 12 weeks is usually when your nausea goes away. It was the day that I hit 12 weeks and nausea, poof, it was gone. It was great. Week 13 was when my fatigue went away. So it was like nausea's gone week 12, fatigue's gone on week 13. I feel great. And they say that your second trimester is like the honeymoon stage. It is, because for me at least, the bad symptoms went away after the first trimester. So I had so much energy. I started going back to the gym every day. It was great. Week 14, some people consider that first trimester, some second trimester. I'm just going to include in this video. Week 14 was when my breast tenderness finally went away. That was like week 4 to week 14. I had that for 10 weeks. That's a long time to not be able to run down the steps. I was getting annoyed, seriously. I'm so glad that it went away. Now, moving on to cravings. I had the strangest, most random cravings ever in the first trimester. I craved tomatoes, bananas, frozen yogurt. What else? Goat cheese was a big one. I craved a ton of fruit, frozen mango, which I've never had in my entire life, and I was craving it. It didn't make any sense. I craved PB&J sandwiches, which is hard when you're gluten-free because you can't just go get like an Uncrustables or something. You have to make like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with gluten-free bread, and that's tough to do because gluten-free bread sucks. I craved pizza, I craved black bean burgers, and then I also craved cereal. So just so many random foods. Everyone has different cravings, but yeah, it seems like each week I had a different craving. It was bizarre. I know there are a ton of old wives' tales that say they can predict the gender of your baby based on your symptoms and your cravings. If you're wondering if those old wives' tales are true, check out this video I made last week. I talk about all of the old wives' tales and what my results were, and then also I reveal the gender of our baby. If you like this video, please be my friend and subscribe to my channel. Next week, I'll be talking about my second trimester symptoms, so if you don't want to miss that video, just turn on the notifications. That way you will be notified as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.